We were living in Toronto, and it had happened when we were engaged that we'd bought a piece of property out in the village of Arden in lieu of an engagement ring. And so we, sort of by mistake, bought the old hotel. A friend and I came out and looked at it and made what we thought was a really silly offer, and the gentleman took it and moved out with his television and left us the hotel and everything that was in it.
And can we ask how much you paid for it?
$9,500. After we moved to Arden and had our first child, we were then faced with the fact that we had to make a living here. I had a chance to take a workshop in the batik process, and very quickly, what had begun as an interesting learning experience became a small business. We named it Arden Batik and went on from there, and I'm still making a living doing it 38 years later. Now it'll hang this way for a little while. There were a lot more businesses at one point, but what's happened, of course, is that the large stores have moved in, and people don't shop here anymore. The gas station, the hardware store, the 3 general stores have all gone. This is Bridge Street, formerly known as Main Street, and it's one of the few spots in town where you can see several of the buildings that were here when I arrived in 1972. The first one was then Park's General Store, later served as Bucky's Home Baking. Next to it is what was then a private home, but had formerly been a post office and shop. Next to that is the old hotel, which is my home and served as my location for the Arden Batik business for quite a few years. And it was called the Osborne House, it was called the Empire Hotel, and when I got it, the Clear Lake Hotel. A man named Fred Hugh came to Arden in the 30s and built this building, which is a bakery. He was a baker, and he and his wife Fay ran this business until 1957. And on summer weekends, they produced 1,000 loaves of bread. Before the big 1914 fire, this area was a location of a blacksmith shop, a drive shed, and a livery stable. When I arrived in 1972, there were the following buildings. The one still standing was the Masonic Hall at that time. Next to it was a small garage and gas station. Next to it was a hardware store run by Mr. Kitson Thompson that sold everything. And next to it was a general store owned by Eugene and Hazel Hughes. Over where the car is was the Hughes house, and past that was a little greenhouse. The building that's now my studio wasn't there at all. This is the corner of Bridge Street and Queen Street, which I guess was the other main business corner at one time. There's another general store, which is now for sale. Next to that, the house one of the former owners lived in. Next to that, the old Anglican church, which was deconsecrated over a decade ago. Across the road is the current post office, which still serves as an important community gathering place. It was built in the 60s.
Is it ingrained in the culture now in Arden that you just go elsewhere to shop?
It's ingrained in culture, period, in North America that you go somewhere else to shop. I mean, except in large downtown areas. Who walks around the corner to shop?